everybody, it's Vicki Weber with At Home Author, and today I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable. I am going to be sharing the top things that I wish I knew before becoming a children's book author. Before I dive into all the details, make sure you like and subscribe so that you do not miss any more videos just like this one. Now, when I first started on my author journey, honestly, I was very nervous. I had all of these ideas and things I wanted to do, and I really thought that they could make a difference. I was excited about them, but I was also extremely worried. I was worried what other people would think. I was very unsure of myself. I kept wavering. One minute I would be super confident. I'm like, yeah, I got this. This is no problem. I have a great idea. People are going to love it. And then the next minute I would be in a panic, like, oh my gosh, what if everybody hates it? And what if I suck? And then it's up there forever. And how do I even do this? And it was a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions, that's for sure. And when I first wanted to do this, I really didn't start as hardcore as I should have. I didn't dive into the deep end initially purely because I didn't believe that it was a thing that I could do. I'm like, you can't just become an author, right? That's not a thing you can do. But I was wrong, and I'm so glad I was wrong. And once I learned more about publishing and writing, the confidence slowly started to come. But that is the number one thing that I really wish I had known from the start, is that it really is a reality. It is a possibility. It's not a pipe dream at all. It's far more achievable than you would think. But don't misunderstand me. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be work. And that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a lot to learn, or that there's not going to be a different set of roller coaster of emotions involved, because there will be. But it is within reach. I like to compare becoming a children's book author to any other industry. If I decided that I wanted to go into IT tomorrow, well, what would I need to do that? I would have to obtain the skills to do that job. And being a children's book author is no different. You don't have to start with experience. You just need to gain it. So that's definitely one of the biggest things that I wish, if I could go back, I would tell myself, stop hesitating, get going. It is a possibility. Do what you want to do. Follow your dreams, old Vicky, past Vicky. Another thing I really wish I had known when I first started was how many scams are out there. And if I'm 100% honest, that was the biggest reason I started At Home Author in the first place, was because I had so many people coming to me saying, how did you become a children's book author? I found a publisher, but they want to charge me $10,000 to publish my book. And I was like, don't do that. No, 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 no. Run away. That's not a traditional publisher. Or, I had so many people saying, oh, I have somebody else self-publishing my book, or the possibilities are endless. But I've run into so many people that have been, put through the ringer because they just didn't know how the industry worked. And I also didn't know how the industry worked when I first started. And now that I do, my goal is just to pull down the veil and to really make it easier to know what's what in the industry. So let me tell you really quickly before I move on, the biggest ways to avoid scams in the publishing industry. The first is that a real traditional publisher pays you. If someone is claiming to be a traditional publisher and they ask you for money, they are not a traditional publisher. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, if you want to self-publish, you are the publisher. So stop looking for self-publishers, because it's you. So instead, you will be looking for printers and distributors. If you check the description below, you'll find some more helpful blog posts and other resources on how to actually self-publish a children's picture book if that is your goal. And if you want to be traditionally published, check the description because you'll find lots and lots and lots of content on how to actually get a traditional publisher for your children's picture book. Another thing I wish I knew before I started was that marketing comes before your book is actually published. My first 3 books were complete flops, and even to this day, they sell at a fraction of what my other books do. And it's purely because I thought that you first make the book and then after it's published, you market the book. And in reality, that's not how it works at all. And I feel silly now thinking about, like, looking back and being like, why did I think that? Why did you think that, Vicky? Especially when now I pay attention to the little things, like when a movie is coming out, how many months prior are they, advertising trailers and saying comes out on this date? The same thing with books and other products that I get really excited about. Or even things like a Netflix series, they'll be like, oh, this comes out on insert date here, and they'll build the hype up to that date. I didn't realize that that's really what I should have been doing all along. And it wasn't until I figured that out that I started seeing the success that I wanted. So marketing is just so important. I had no idea how important it was. I really honestly thought when I first started that if I just made the books that the people would come, that they would somehow find it and talk about it to other people, and that would be that. But it's just not how it works at all. It comes down to the fact that people can't buy your book if they don't know it exists. And unless you tell them that it's out there, they're just not going to know about it. So you need to really pay attention to how you are releasing books and how you are talking about them and what your specific strategy is to maximize not only on your efforts, but to get the sales so that you can keep producing more and more books. Because I know for me, if I continued to have books flop, I would not have as many books as I do now. I needed to start seeing a return on my time and my money before I could do anything else. And so that's one thing that I really wish I had learned sooner, was just I need to have a plan up front, that marketing needs to happen long before the book is published, and that strategy is crucial to the book's success. But I guess the biggest thing, if I could go back and talk to myself, my past self, would just be that you can be successful with children's books. When I started, I had these ideas that I thought would be really powerful in my topic area of music education, and I really wanted to make a difference. And that's the purpose that I started writing. That's why I started writing. It was my dream, and I wanted to help people and create content that wasn't out there already. But I didn't know that I could actually change my own life with it. And I didn't know that I could change my family's life with my dream. And if I had known that, I would have taken the leap so much sooner. I would have started writing years earlier. I would have, done my research way, way before I actually did. And I also would have treated my writing and my children's books in general, I would have treated everything more like a business if I had known that there was the possibility of finding true success and, being able to make money doing it and being able to also make a difference and get paid to do it. I wish I had known that right from the start, because I do think if I could go back, I would do things very differently. That said, I do think that everything happens for a reason, and I also know that everything that I learned with my books that weren't successful led me to where I am now. and also have really helped me help you understand how to skip over those mistakes and get to the good part so that you don't have to repeat the cycle and you don't have to get stuck, where I got stuck. So that I think would be the biggest one is if I could go back, I would really want to tell my past self that you can do this. And if you do it, you are going to absolutely change the trajectory of your career, of your family's life, and there's so much good to come if you just believe it's possible and put the work in. And I know that the same is true for you. If you're here and you're still listening, that is half the battle. You have to want it. You have to be excited about what you're doing, and you have to make the time. If you don't like what you're doing, then there's no way you're going to make the time, at least not long term. So just the fact that you're listening to this right now tells me that you absolutely can do this if your heart is in it. And I want to help. If you haven't done so already, please, please, please check out my other YouTube videos or consider joining the Profitable Picture Books program. I really try my hardest to create as much helpful content as I can because I've been there. I know how stressful it is to dive into this world and to try and learn an entire industry and gain all of these skills in a short period of time. But remember, you don't have to do this in a summer. A lot of people I work with are teachers and think that a summer is going to be enough. This is going to be a long-term thing, and gaining those skills, it'll take some time. So work at your pace. Create some habits for yourself that are realistic. So if you want to be a better writer, try writing for 5 to 10 minutes a day. I know I don't have time to sit down for like 3 hours to write a day, especially when I was still working full time. If you have other things going on, make sure that you are setting realistic expectations and that you're just habit building. You're making a habit of learning more about the industry. You're making a habit of writing. You're making a habit of moving forward, because even if it's baby steps, every single step that you take is going to take you closer to your goal. As always, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below, or feel free to check the description for more resources and places that you can find some more assistance on your author journey.